the studio that my family owns. I've made over 300 songs that are out on every single platform. All different types of music, all different types of genres, all different types of personas, personalities. And yeah.
All right, so let's start getting into a little bit about your music. What is your music?
My music is everything that it is. You know, people would say that I talk about crazy things in my music. It's very unique. It's not like the other music that everybody's putting out. They try to copy everybody. You know, my music videos are very unique in a sense of what I want to put out there. I don't flash money. I don't flash cars. I don't flash clothing. Nothing. Because that's not music. What really music is your frequency coming out into the world. Your frequency influencing other people. And you can either influence somebody to feel this emotion or that emotion.
That I can never I feel like I can never ever work without listening to like some type of music. It doesn't even have to be music I necessarily. No, it has to be music I like. Like if it's not music that I love or like I admire, I definitely can't I can't function as a human being. Which leads me into my next question. Who are like your favorite artists? Who do you like? I'm not going to say imitate, but who do you like whenever you're like in the producer room and you're just like, I want to like make music?
Old Trippy Red. One of my biggest inspirations is Little Darky. You know, I love that he can go to making such a like hard metal song to a beautiful melody. You know, I really resonate with that. I really love that he does that, and especially the last one has to be X. You know, because that's what I want to be. I want to be another X. I want to influence the world and the impact the way he did, because you know he kind of shifted everybody into this state of, hey, we can actually use our mind and use our intelligence through this music, and you know, and find a way to live life in a better way. Because you know he came from the dark, and then when he came up, he followed the light. And, you know, and that's what I want to do. You know, I came from the dark, and now I'm trying to influence people to come to the light.
I had a feeling those three. I was like actually right on the mark because I was listening to your music and I was like, who are like 10 people I can like name that sounds like the music you're trying to imitate. And it was Trippy Red, because you have a song called Trippy Red on there. XX, I said Playboy Cardi. I said Juice WRLD. I said Yeet.
Yeah, I get Yeet a lot.
Yeah, because I was like, you use a lot of auto tune in your music, and I was like, I feel like Yeet would vibe with this immensely. And I feel like when we listen to artists that we love, it's not necessarily like we want to beat them. It's they resonate a voice within us that we can't really communicate, but they communicate for us perfectly, and I love that so much about music. Like my favorite person is Tyler the Creator, and it's just because not only is he like into music, and I've like seen it. Well, I haven't seen him like growing up and just make more and more music. I kind of after Flower Boy, that's when I started listening to him. That's when I started listening to music in general. But it's just like it's fun to listen to, and it's fun to make you. It makes you feel fun, and then like his music videos that he be doing is so cinematic, and as a photographer, as a videographer, that it's like he's such a well-rounded person.
He's definitely a wonderful entertainer, and I feel like the persona he created around his music definitely has an influence on his fans, and definitely the way he portrays himself is definitely like building up his fan base and people who stick with him. But the person that I really inspire and that I'm inspired to be and inspired to be like is actually Kanye West, which I don't think you would ever guess that, because he is such a misunderstood individual. He is such a, everybody thinks he's crazy. Everybody thinks all these things he's saying is crazy. But I don't think he's crazy at all. Like, I think that he may be a little, like he said, a little autistic. But that's the artist that I look to the most.
What is your favorite album by him?
Oh man, I can't even like. I like all his songs, but I like the. I wouldn't even say an album, but like this song he came out with not too long ago, "Remote Control" with Young Thug. Oh man, like that song is just beautiful, and like nobody really knows of it. It's like, uh, it's kind of like a gospel, not such a gospel song, but my favorite song by Kanye West had to be "Remote Control."
I think I started listening to him on My Dark Twisted Fantasy. I think that's how, because I always knew who he was. Like I always heard him on the radio, but I never had it. Like I never sat down. I was like, let me listen. Let me start listening to the album. That album was, I think, from front to back was perfect. And his Jay-Z album with Jay-Z, that was a banger album too.
Yeah.
After like, they just have a chemistry like nobody else. And these are like everything I'm talking about. And more towards the end of the album, you get more and more like you get a little bit more hopeful in the songs. Like the beat's a little bit more up. It's not as morbid or violent as the beginning, and it's an experience to and from. That's what I like. That's my headcanon about it anyway.
Yeah. So the start of the album is definitely the painful side, and then the end of the album is definitely me coming to a redemption, coming to the light, coming to realization that life is not as bad as I'm making it seem to be. A bunch of bad things happened to me, but really, in my opinion, it was God forming me into the person that I should be. Like it was God actually saying, look, you're not like all these other people. You're the strongest soldier, so I'm going to give you the toughest battles. So I got the toughest battles, but now I have the strongest mindset. Now I have the strongest body. Now I have the strongest mentality, And, I'm kind of thankful for everything that I went through. But a lot of the things that I went through happened to be with women. These women will destroy you, king. You were born in this mentality of a king, and the woman will bring you down to the perception of what they think of you. I'm telling you, I used, like women have ruined my life countless times, and it's because I cared about them. They don't care about you, bro. They care about what you can give them.
How did you find God?
How did I find God?
With him?
Man, I was in the, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't talk about on air, but how I found God is I had to fall. I had to experience the dark to see the light. I used to think I was God. I used to use that perception like spirituality and all that, and I thought I was the universe experiencing itself, but I'm not. I don't believe that anymore. I believe in a higher power. I believe that we're a piece of God and created in His image. And I've seen a lot of things that other people like have go their whole life without seeing, spiritually, entities, all type of things that people are nervous to talk about, nervous to say they experience because they said, oh, it's just my mind playing tricks on me, but really it's not. He is the way, He is the truth and the life. But I don't follow Christianity. I don't follow any religion. I follow Christ.
Speaking of Christ and the Bible, you have an album called Isaiah 54:17. Tell me about that verse right there, if you remember it.
Yeah, no weapon against the enemy shall prosper. That's pretty much saying like, the devil tried to use my own mind against me, into believing like evolution and science, and I believe in those things, but at the same time I had to realize that just because one thing is true does not mean the other is not true. Because like everybody's like, oh, if we come from monkeys, if we come from hominal creatures, that God can't be real, and that's just not true. Like that's just people keep trying to pick one of the two, and that's just not true. It's just not. It's the universe is a complex place and a complex rules and steps that took place, but that doesn't leave out that God exists.
I'm not one to say that I've been going to church here and there lately with a friend of mine, and I don't really know how to like kind of like approach the whole setting and idea of it. Because like Christianity hasn't been used for the right and just purposes throughout history
Yeah.
as I would want it to be. But my parents, they're Baptists, and they're so like passionate about God, and even my siblings, they're so passionate about it. They believe in Him. They like my sister, whenever she's going through something, or even every night, she'll pray to God. She'll give her 2 cents to Him about it. Make sure everybody's all right by Him and whatever and whatnot. And I wanna be that, and I wanna like feel that, but it's like I feel like at that same time, I really need somebody here physically, and not like kind of spiritually, to like be there for me and whatnot, and like put that hand on my shoulder that I need. Not saying that I don't think there's like a higher power. Definitely feel like there's a higher power in like the.
Let me tell you. I don't mean to cut you off, but have you ever prayed for God to send you an angel to come to you? Have you ever, because you said you need somebody right here, have you ever prayed for God to come right here? Right next to you and actually like, because I'm telling you, like, it's, the power of God can do anything, and you're saying you need somebody right here. Did you ask God to send somebody right here?
I don't think like, in like the sense of like actually praying, but I've like I don't know, cause like I don't really know how to pray. So like I feel like yeah.
It's like talking to your father, your real father, your spiritual father. It's like talking to your dad. It's like, okay, so when somebody does you wrong in this world, and you go tell your father, like, God, this person hurt me, and he's like, don't worry about it, I will handle it. That's how it's like talking to your father. It's like talking to your God. It's like sitting there and having a conversation. People like to act like it's not that, but it is. That's exactly what it is. It's you're talking to your spiritual divine creator, your father. And if somebody hurts you, it's not your wrath to go and try to get revenge. It's God's. Some people call it karma. Some people call it this. I call it God's wrath, because God's alive and living in everything, and He can manipulate and do whatever His will is. So I mean, we understand that we have to pray like it's divine intervention, but it's much more simple than that. Once you kind of dumb it down and be like, I'm talking to you, and He's going to come into you and be like, do you believe? You have to put your belief and your trust in Him. I've had, God will come to you in all type of forms. God has the image of everything. He can come to you through a person, through a dream, through a vision, but you have to believe. If you don't believe in God, you still may have an encounter, but he's such a loving God that He gives all your purpose to live your life how you want. He's not gonna come to you if you don't want Him to come to you, and if you don't believe, He's gonna come to you.
What are some conversation? What are some prayers that like you say to God, to like you're having a bad day, or somebody you thought was a friend wasn't a friend, and you just like how do you approach that topic? How do you approach that conversation?
I say, Dear Heavenly Father, please send the strongest angel from heaven to defend me against diabolical and demonic presences of this world and others, so it will protect me away from all dark energies, such as lust, such as anger, such as resentment, such as anything. You send the strongest angel from heaven, God, to defend me against those diabolical demonic presences, and you will be protected.
I don't know, because the only time I would go to church was when I was younger, was for like a funeral, or like the off chance that there was an event
Yeah.
and I would go. But
Sure.
like now, well, like this friend that I have, her name's Dasani, and she's the best. And I think I went to her church once, but I went to a couple of other friends of mine's churches, and like when I'm ever curious about a topic, cause like I think our mother speaks in tongues, and I'm like, how do you even do that? And it's just like that's like the language, that's like the intimate language they speak with God, and it's just like, and like you.
I personally think it could be true, but I don't know. The church is a business. The church is there to entertain you, to give you some songs, to have a good time, to make you feel good. You keep saying you're going to church, going to this, but God is not found inside the church. He's found inside you and me. He's found inside love, hope, prosperity. He's found inside the hurt people that are not in church. Like a lot of the time, churches are ruled and controlled by the devil. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I've been in a church. It was a Baptist church. Nothing against Baptist people. Baptist people are awesome. But I went downstairs in the basement, and there was like satanic rituals all around in the basement. And like I didn't know how to feel about that. I'm going to church here, and there's something extra going on here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what the devil likes to do, he likes to pretend like he's somebody that like he tries to pretend like he is he tries to pretend like he's God, Jesus, the angels. He likes to pretend. He tries to mimic God. He's the we're all mimickers of God because we ate the apple. So we're all mimickers of God, but he is the more intelligent way of mimicking God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't think there's nothing wrong with the church, but there's definitely some fishy things going on in these churches, man. And let me tell you, don't put your faith into the church. Don't put your faith into people. Put your faith into the God that you and I know, the Almighty. Put your faith in Jesus. Don't put your faith in what people say. Put your faith into what you know. That's why I don't go off the Bible, because it's been manipulated, and by kings, rulers, to control us, to brainwash us, to make us turn into slaves, all types of things. And this world is a very evil world, but the devil lives in a house right beside the church. So just keep that in mind.
I've definitely heard that quote from somewhere, and I'm so glad you brought it back into my life. I don't know. If the Bible, it's a question for you. If the Bible's been like manipulated so much, what are some? How do you like? Do you read the Bible and then choose verses that you feel like resonate with you, or is it like another process entirely?
It's another process. I've read the Bible over countless times. I'm not putting my faith into a man-made book. People be like, oh, well, God uses people, and no, people use people. People use what they let them. I read Genesis and I see that God. It says that. Oh, now they think like us, and this is God speaking. Why would God be saying they? No, it's God is one. God is a Trinity, but it's still one. And you gotta realize what this Bible is doing to people. It's brainwashing them to make them feel good. They read their Bible every so often, they feel better, but at the end of the day, what are you doing? Are you getting closer to God? Or are you getting closer to this man-made thing that how people portray God? God is within you. God is in your heart if you allow Him. I've seen, people run to the Bible, run to the church, run in fear after they see their first spiritual demonic encounter. They'll run to the church. But these things are not going to save you. The only thing that will save you is the repentance in Jesus Christ, Yeshua. I'm telling you, the embodiment of Christ. Like, stop giving these people money. Stop giving these people power. Trying to give these people aren't prophets. these people aren't like leading you into the right direction. The only people that are gonna lead you into the right direction is when you will know when they're feeding off positive energy. But be aware of, like the Bible says, be aware of wolf in sheep clothing, because that's real. There's a lot of things in the Bible that is correct, and is definitely from God. There's a lot of things that aren't. Just like the Quran, just like the Torah, just like every holy book.
Yeah, bro. Thank you for like that, because I can tell you were very passionate about that through that entire segment. And I'm glad, because I'm glad I got more insight about it, because I want to get as much before I fully dip my toes into God. I want to be able to get as much opinions and information from other people about it before I make my own decisions and ideologies about it. So I'm very glad you're here to step me through the process and whatnot of what you do and how you approach God every day. Tell me about your album, your latest album, Isaiah 54:17.
Well, yeah, like I said, I don't remember the Bible quote exactly, but it's like, no weapon from the enemy shall prosper against me. So it's pretty much saying that whatever weapon the enemy is trying to use on me will never prosper. I've been hurt by people in life, and it's made me to the point where I didn't want to be here anymore. It's made me to the point where I didn't even want to try. But at the end of the day, if I keep my faith into God's promise that will not prosper, that the weapon from the enemy will not prosper, then I will prosper.
Most definitely. So we're going to go into a little bit of break here, give ourselves some room to breathe. But we got a little special one for you guys, and it's by Scooter himself. Is You Alright? And I'm pretty sure everybody would love this song. So here y'all go.